So let me start by going ahead on this particular topic. We are going to talk about today's issues, which are the essentially empowering yourself now, because we are in a situation where a lot of people are really wondering what do we do at this stage, right? The question is, how long we will keep waiting? We were looking forward to the situations that they will improve and then we will start our business. But yes, it is, we get a clear signal that there are no such positive signals are going to emerge in the coming future, and we are really going to be taking the decision on our own. So today, the essentially the key element is, what are we going to do in the present moment of the problems that are continuing. And let me ask a very simple question as to, have you been ever so frustrated and so much disengaged with your profession or your career that you are not able to do anything at this point of time? And you seem to be lost. What do I do in my life at this point of time? Yes, most of the people, most of you would have this question. And I would like to suggest that the answer lies in essentially not outside. The outside is not going to change because that's not in our control. So, what we are going to change is what is within our control. So, what is that within our control? It is my part of it, my inside part of it is what I got to really consider. And the solution lies in, what is my thought pattern? Am I subdued by what is happening outside for last 4 months? And then what is really happening to the time that I am allowing to pass away? So friends, these are the two elements. We have two big resources. One is the mind, which is so powerful a resource that if we see around all of us last 400 years, we would see that anything and everything that you look around is the product of mind. It's the product of science, which has so effectively used the mind that you are able to really go to the moon. You are able to get the picture from the moon. You are able to see and right now talk across the world from one corner to the other corner. You are able to see even microscopic details of of the leaf of a tree or even the seed of a tree. You can go so much into micro details to really know how much is the what the leaf is made of. You can even see the chlorophyll molecule inside. That is the kind of detail we are able to see using the science, using the mind power. Today, even the human body, we know absolutely bulk of the knowledge about each organ and how it functions, and in case of diseases, how to really monitor the progress of the patient. So much of science has progressed, and the mind power has been the prime driver for last maybe 400 years or so. So today, let's reflect, what are we doing? Today, in fact, the science, the research says that your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create your reality, meaning what do you think you can become and you will become. The second aspect of the science says that it's your right hand side of the brain, which is the, you could say, the emotional side of yourself, that is controlling bulk of your productivity. Though your mind is functioning very well, but your heart, you're depressed, you are not in a good mood, right? Your creativity is affected, your relationships are affected, your progress on the work is affected. So it's your heart which is affecting your productivity, and mind is also affected in view of the kind of the habits that have been created in front of our society. So coming back to the mind power, the mind has been doing wonderfully well for last, let's say, 400 years, where there has been an active utilization of mind and active creation of the mind. And what have we got from the mind? The mind has very little to be impacted adversely from the heart side. It was a pure concentration, it was a pure focus, and it dwelt on the subject, and it came up with wonderful, wonderful products, wonderful discoveries, and the entire, the world that we see around. Today, what has happened? So today, if we really reflect, put a mirror in front of us and really see on the mirror for the thoughts, reflect on your thoughts. What kind of thoughts am I having which are going through my mind since the morning as I got up? And you will realize that I have been thinking possibly very, very ordinary things. I have not been really thinking in terms of the power that mind has got. I am thinking more in view of the routine things. What am I supposed to do? I am getting late. I have to travel. Maybe traveling is not so much involved, but there are a lot of pending things. So it's more of the routine activities that I am talking of, I'm thinking about. So to first thing is to raise our power, the mind power. Empowering myself means I should be using my mind, the big infinite resource which the past generations have used so well. Are we using our mind so well? So the answer comes that there has been a lot of ordinary thoughts of which are not really being useful in that sense for developing anything new where the value addition is taking place. The second element is, let's say, the specific to something called worrying about the future, worrying about the past. Now these are the thoughts which are really the wasteful thoughts. It does not lead us anywhere. I'm sitting in front of my laptop or with my work, but my mind is really not focused on this. It is worrying about something which has happened in the past or worrying about the future. So what does it indicate? What it indicates is that the future is really killing away your time, your worries about the future or some of the worries of the past events. Now that's killing your time. So one is the routine work killing your time. One is worries are killing your time. The third is some of the positive things is what we want to do. So we do work for a short time on some of our, important activities, important work related tasks. And that's contributing. But against that, we have a lot of our own sort of competitive spirit, the worries about the family, in the offices, whether my boss will be taking care, or my business, if I'm an owner, whether my business is going to go up and how and what the markets will, progress. All of this will really keep me worried. And these are the negative thoughts. So the mind power on one side, as I start my day in the morning, I'm very energetic. If I have started with positive thoughts, right? If I have started with not so positive thought, then my mind already is on a negative side, and whole day I will not be really coming up with my best of spirit, best of enthusiasm, best of the productivity. So, my friends, what we need is the absolute clarity about my thoughts are my life. The thoughts create the words you speak, and then they come into the action, and then they come into your belief if you keep doing the actions, and then they finally come into the behavior and the habit, and finally that creates your destiny. So what is the percentage of the thoughts that we are using for our constructive life? This is what will an important element. And we all know today the entire digitalized culture and the entire fast-paced corporate culture is taking a big toll on the kind of work that we are doing. We are not able to, most of us are not able to really do a constructive work. We are more able to do the follow up or the doing type of a work and not a thinking work. Why? Because the human being, the power is in thinking. When I think, I can visualize, I can imagine, I can judge, I can decide, I can feel, I can exchange. But if I stop thinking, then all of this output is going to really not come to my rescue. So the second element is the time. The time is equally important, because 24 hours we have got, within that maybe we have 8 hours or so of the working time. If I am not using constructive thoughts, then my time is getting lost. So ultimately, I am getting a dual damage to my future, my career. The time being not used for productive work, and not much of creativity in my thinking process. So I can't be adding the value. On the other side, I am not doing the productive work of my normal work, but the other side is the creativity and innovation, the new vision for the business, new vision for my future. All of that is taking toll. So the two elements are the thoughts and the time. Right. So empowering myself will mean that I must be very, very conscious of what kind of thoughts I'm putting in. And that's where I got to control my thinking processes. The second element which I would like to mention here is the you as a person, we as a human being, we are actually created in the reflection of God, as it is said. So the capabilities of us are huge. We have tremendous potential to achieve. And how we are undermining this? Let me tell you a few examples. Right? We all are in our best of the spirit. We are a superhuman being. We can achieve anything. We can do anything. As some days we feel that you are in the best of the spirit and you can achieve everything. But some days you are not so good and you may not feel so good and you will not achieve anything. Why? The reason is that as a human being, we come into contact with the people around. Right. Now, or also the environment where certain things, some information will come in, and that would put me off maybe. Now, how does this work? How does the being side of us work? There's a human side. Human side is made of, that is the body, which is made of 5 elements. For example, water is one, air is one. Now, very clearly, when the body is feeling less quantum of water, then you feel thirsty, and then you want that water to, really you want to, take the water in so that you start feeling better. Same thing will happen with the air. Now, that is the physical side of the body. The living being, the conscient side of us, where the power resides, right, is consisting of several similar elements. For example, there is something called peace, the peaceful state of mind, loveful state of mind, right? Very pure state of honesty based state of mind, right? Then there is a powers. You are very always, you feel powerful in a normal course of time, right? And fifth is in terms of the knowledge. We all have a tremendous amount of knowledge within us already. Now, when we are in the best of the spirit, we are so balanced, and we will always feel peaceful. We will always be loving each other. We will always be talking very right thing, honest things, right? We will be energetic, and we will be also behaving as a knowledgeful person. However, if something which is not so desirable, undesirable event happens and that information comes to me, then I get disturbed. Now, one of these 5 elements will get disturbed, right? Maybe you had that energy that enthusiasm will go down, right? Or if somebody is come with a kind of negative news, you tend to get agitated and you may lose your cool and you may say something. So it will disturb the peace for him and it will disturb peace for you as well. As an individual, first impact is to ourselves. So I would lose my balance. Now, the impact of this, any of such things, where the external source has disturbed me, or if I am reading something, that news, let's say somebody has suddenly taken up to illness, and that message comes to you. Now you are disturbed because that has impacted your balanced state of mind. So in that state, your productivity goes down. So the key lies in how do we insulate ourselves from these disturbances, and there is that we got to learn the art, because these are all recent phenomena. Last 20 years after the globalization and after digitalization is what we are getting increasing quantum of information from external world, and we are really actually getting disturbed from moment to moment because every information is also reaching us at the same time, right? So the key lies in how do we insulate ourselves, don't allow anything and everything to impact me. Now this requires that I create an absolute elevated, very positive state of mind, and also the heart, because it affects the heart as well. Any loss of contract, for example, suddenly after a lot of hard work, if you have been waiting to for that good news and you get the information that you lost the contract, so what is going to happen? You are going to be feeling dejected. Now that is going to again impact your further work at the office or with your colleagues or with your relatives. Now, so empowering ourselves, there are two things. One is I got to use my thinking power, which is in a focused, concentrated manner, just like the magnifying glass. The sun rays can't do otherwise anything. But if you just bring in a magnifying glass, it will start burning the material which is below that, something like paper or whatever. You can feel the effect, right? The whole lot of solar energy is working on that concept, which helps in cooking and creating even electricity. So that is the level of focus and concentration that we need to have, my friends. So considering these two elements, the power will come through the one is the thinking, and the second is now how do I balance myself. So I have a simple suggestion. We got to balance ourselves. We are carrying a huge responsibility in today's time, where a lot of people are really looking forward to us. We are sitting on the top of the pyramid and everybody is watching us for action, because their life and their sustenance depends on us as a leader. And I would request that we take upon the responsibility as a decision maker. It is the decision maker who has powers, who has powers, and he has been using these powers of intuition, his powers of responsibility taking, his powers of managing the affairs, his powers of bringing the resources of the company together, including finance, manpower, material, everything. Now, with all of these resources and the capabilities, it is this man who is sitting on the top has to take a decision. The decision means to really evaluate the possible options and choose one which is in the best interest of myself and my organizations. And when I consider this, I will realize that not doing anything is much more damaging to me and my business, right? I have put in so much of efforts to develop my business for last maybe 10, 20, 30 years. And I have created a goodwill, I have created a knowledge base, I have people who are knowledgeable with me. And finally, If I don't do anything, then surely there will be some competitor will, wake up earlier than me, and he would be at a greater advantage. So today, the key lies in my taking a decision. Decision is only a second moment. Worrying takes hours, but decision takes only a second. So what we need to do is take the decision. It's in the moment of decision that the great things happen. Right? So in today's time, when there is a kind of a fearful environment of what will happen to the business, there may be huge losses in future if you open up the business, or there may be a fear of health for self or health for the people whom I am going to call back on my for my business. So I'm afraid of their health. But when you take a decision, you are taking a decision not for yourself. In today's delicate environment, you are going to rise to this occasion, and you can recall your initial days of being an entrepreneur. You took some greater risk, and you said, well, I am confident and I will be able to do it. You have confidence in you. That is how you became an entrepreneur, and you grew up today to this level. Right? So the best way is today is that raise yourself level high, be a little more accommodative, be a little more generous, and get into the other side of your employees, and maybe also some of the critical vendors, where you want to invite them to really come together to chalk out a plan of action. Right? First is a planning action. Right? So the planning will involve what do we want to do as a team. Right? Some of the leading employees and maybe the leading vendors and whoever critical stakeholders you may want to bring in, and chalk out a plan of action. And the creative will be an important element in the whole discussion, because today the business is at a low level. The demands of everything is less, possibly, so you may not be able to run your operations to the fullest capacity. But what you need to do, that while that is going to be attended to the extent that there is a need, but the balance time of your valuable employees, knowledgeable employees, your vendors, you can now think of the new future. Now that is what we need to build. We are saying empowering ourselves to build tomorrow. Now we know there is a big difference between yesterday, what we were doing, and tomorrow, what is going to usher in. The industry, the environment has undergone a major change. We are able to see that various industries, their focus, they are also undergoing change. Several industries are likely to close down. But there is a positive side. There are several new industries are coming up. Right? The entire net-based, online-based activity, interaction, entertainment, right? All of this is a new business, and there is nobody to cater to this business, right? So far, everybody has been possibly waiting for his business to commence, but there is a whole lot of opportunities. And now this is where your team can sit down and think about the novel products, novel technologies, novel markets, something different from what you are doing, maybe in a narrow area relating to your own business, or you may widen your area and look at what is more possible, or even look at totally something different, right, where you feel confident and you have possibly a necessary some references or resources which you can study with that new team, and finally you will be able to look at those. So friends, what we need to do today is essentially get the people on board, right? Once we have this blueprint ready, then we know that I'm not going to be paying salary or losing money just for doing nothing. No, you are creating a great value. You are creating a great, kind of a new business plan, which is of a much greater value, and you are ahead of time of compared to other competitors or whoever new comers into this new businesses. So you are actually utilizing this particular time, and these are the areas which will really give you a kind of positive feeling that you are not wasting resources. You are actually capitalizing your time and money for much better value using your manpower. Now when this positivity starts oozing out from your heart, then you become now a decision maker, right? And now nobody can stop you from going ahead, because you really understood that the future is much more in store, right? And you will become a confident business owner to start your new business activity. At least the planning will take place, and in the coming 6 months or whatever time that this slackened economy is going to continue, but you are going to develop several new ideas, proposals, opportunities with the help of your people, your stakeholders, and you are actually going to be pumped up with your energy, enthusiasm, and you are actually going to thank this period where first time you and your team could focus your mind. I was coming to that mind power. You could use your mind for thinking, not doing the routine follow up, pushing what happened, updates, this and that, because that is not the job of the decision maker. That is the job of a doer, right? As a decision maker, more we visualize the future, the more we visualize the diversity, more we go into the prospective markets. That's where our future, the business as well as our own growth takes place. So the focus and concentration into your time element, using your mind, will bring this creativity. That's where your heart will now start contributing. That it is the right hand side of your brain which actually pumps you up with the emotional contribution. Where when the idea comes, it is the emotion which says, oh, that's a great idea. And that makes you push even further for your further activities. So you got to listen to the heart. So this is where, so when I was talking of the mind power and the balance of as a being, so the balance is, I remain always in balance. I don't get disturbed, because I know that everything is meant for good. The universe has sent us for achieving something. That's the basis. So your belief has to change. The belief is, I can do anything. Nothing is impossible for me. It is up to me to really take my focus into something that I really want to achieve, and create that purpose and focus, a narrow purpose, and not spread your time and energy onto so many things. As an owner, you are also going to spend your time only on that 20% of the high value activity, not the 80% of the routine activities. Now, to be able to achieve this, I will tell you in due course of time, how do we achieve this balance and this level of thought power. So, let me move to the next level where we all have concern, is about the employees. How will they be able to come forward, right? Yes, that's a very valid concern. Will they be able to be productive? Will they be able to come and give their creative solutions, contributions? Yes. The fact is that yes, the whole lot of every individual being, all employees are concerned They are at home, their children are at home, right? They are doing studies at home, so that's another stress for children and also for the parents. The needs of the children as well as the parents in terms of the facility, in terms of the flat size, accommodation size, or even the laptop or mobile. These are all possibly, may not be in sufficient capacity. So some of the few things which you may ask your employees to come forward with their suggestion as to what they need. So they may need some of these electronic gadgets, the internet connections, maybe some of the relaxed moment or flexible time for them to manage their home affair, right? Some of the lady employees will have multiple responsibility. They also will need that kind of flexibility from the business owners. So when we attend to that, similarly, we also give them enough of support on the health front, that protect your health, because that is the primary requirement. And tell them that company will look after all these expenses. It's your initial investment, yes, as a business owner, but when they come back with the ideas and creativity, this will more than compensate for the cost that you are going to incur. Imagine, that when you start a new business, you pump in so much of investment, and then the returns actually take 2, 3, 4 years. So I think we should consider this as maybe one of such unique situation, right? And it is not a unsurmountable problem, right? If we take enough protections, right, and get only the minimum people outside into the office, let the maximum people continue to work from home, so that your exposure to the risk is minimized. And with that, you are taking enough care about safety of everybody, and you will gradually start implementing your business plan. So on the employees front, be generous to them. There are few things what they look forward from you. Again, I'm coming back to the being side of it. They are a being, so they look forward to your respect. They look forward to your trust. They look forward from you humility, equality, not that you're bossing around. Because the more you give these qualities, you don't have to tell them to work. Then they will be triggered, they will be ignited on their own, because they feel, when you trust them, they feel that I'm part of the company. That trust creates wonders in a person. And then he will take upon himself the entire responsibility to achieve whatever is to be achieved and deliver even more than what you have asked for. So our job is not to really push the people or give this, set the targets, but really work on this softer side of, providing them respect, providing them with the kind of trust, providing them with all the freedom. And that really, it's like a nuclear bomb that puts them into action. And this is the time where we really activate our own people. They are the ones who have built this organization with their blood, and they have toiled so hard for all these years. It is their company as well, right? Let us allow them to think this is their. In fact, they do think so. So when you do this, the employees will be really very happily keen to work, and you are sufficiently protecting them as well. And that should also help you in restarting the business. The third element I would like to come to, the other than the employees, you have a major ecosystem around you to do the business. That means, sorry, I'll just take a glass of sip of water. So the vendors, the service providers, the stakeholders, the bankers, all of these are part of your ecosystem. And it is they who are really helping you to assemble everything and convert into the finished product. So in today's environment, everybody is working at a suboptimal level. Now that you are going to be a torch bearer actually in your own surrounding, to your vendors, to your various stakeholders. And when you are a leader, because you are going to impact, influence them positively. Now, while doing this, when you will, you see from their viewpoint, don't see from your perspective, my gain or my loss. No, balance those gains and loss. Everybody is under stress. Everybody is having minimum people. Everybody is having the resources problem, including the financial problem, right? And with that, when you will work as a team builder, a team of stakeholders, right? You are a leader, one of the leaders, and when you balance everybody's interest, not that you gain at the cost of others, but everybody gains at the same time. These are not the times to make maximum gains. These are the time just to stand up from the ground. So when you will have this approach, all of these stakeholder, vendors, bankers will come forward to support you, listen to you, and work with you. And when you would have developed that approach of balancing and not your maximizing your own benefit, that is the time you will develop a new foundation, a very strong foundation of collaborative spirit. You are like, you will be bonded like never before. You will have developed the understanding between all of you like never before. And you will resolve all differences, all problems, and you will work as a real single coherent team. And that is going to bear huge fruits to you in future as well, because some of the best vendors are the ones you will approach now, and you are going to engage them for future. You are going to establish relationship with them for future. And when you have established such a nice relationship, they are not going to be available for somebody else, because their capacity is already tied in with you, and maybe one or two more such people like you. But that is the advantage, that you would have now a much more understanding partners, much more understanding bankers, much more understanding vendors, and nothing is going to be impossible for you to achieve as a group of stakeholders. So any challenge in future, you will be the first to take on and solve the problem and come with a solution to the market, to the customers. That's the power of a collaborative spirit, and this is the right environment, because everybody is looking for work, everybody is looking for partnering together and reducing the risk. So this is the real good time for anybody who is working on the building up the business or restarting the business. So friends, to summarize, I would like to say that the answer lies in inside, not external. World is not going to give you relief. The solution are essentially 4 points. One is, you keep absolutely positive thought, and you also keep your balance, right? Now, how to achieve this? I have to still tell you that there are simple practices. It is the practices which makes the man perfect. So what are the practices? The first practice is, as you want to begin a change within yourself, your change is, you are going to tell yourself in the morning, as you get up first thing in the morning, I am going to remain calm and balanced, because my nature is peaceful. I am a loveful person. I am a powerful person. I am a, very, pure, righteous person. So when I deal with people, I will be able to follow this, my morning, mantras that I have already conveyed to myself. And when I do this, I will be able to, reminded throughout the day the kind of decision that I had taken, right? And so that is the sort of giving a regular kind of a reminder. It will happen automatically, or you may even put down some of those reminders near your laptop or computer, and you can control your reactions, right? The second thing is, in the night before you go to bed, what you need to do is essentially spend half an hour for yourself, right? Let me just have a sip of water. Half an hour for yourself will include essentially analyzing how my day had gone. Now, this is one thing that you got to keep in mind. We have never been spending time for ourselves, myself. I have been working for the company. I have been talking with employees. I have been talking with outside people. I have come home and I talk with my family members. But I have not spared time for myself. So the need of the hour is, when I say balance, is you spend time for yourself. Now, in this process, the first 15 minutes, you go to analyze, put down what good things happen to you, pat yourself, right? And thank to your various, supporters and people who have helped you achieve in today's success, right? There have been some negative happenings, so you learn from there and you don't curse yourself. There may be mistake, but that's for learning. Now, that's the note you take within yourself. And if there have been some people who have troubled you or you have troubled them, so you got to remember so that next day you can communicate to them in an appropriate manner. So you are right now telling also sorry to them in your own mind. So your heart feels light. You had a tough day, you had a bad day, so let your heart feel light, right? So this is how you really clear your mind and heart from the day's stress. You are de-stressing yourself. This is the need, because you have been building up stress for throughout the day. You got to de-stress, right? And that will help you as you get up in the morning. I'll explain that. Now, the second 15 minutes that you need to do is you need to do some good positive reading, which helps you as a human being, as a person, the being part of it, which gives you new ideas to how to be peaceful, how to be pure, how to be honest, how to be powerful, how to be energetic, how to be enthusiastic. This won't happen just like that, because in the environment of 10 hours when you are outside on the daily work, you won't see these examples, unfortunately. So you have to pump in yourself the previous night. Then with this, when you will go to sleep, you will have your very, very sound sleep, because mind has nothing to think about in terms of worries and stress. Many things have gone wrong during the day, but mind, you have kept it busy with something good, something positive. After the mind has rested well throughout the night, your body rested, mind rested. Now, when you wake up in the morning, your mind will feel absolute fresh. You would have never felt it before. And if it picked up something worrisome in the night before going to sleep, then it would really feel lousy, like, you feel sleepy, lousy, which means your body was resting, but mind was not resting. So, friends, with that, your morning is a great start when the mind is fresh. Now, one more secret of our mind is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is very powerful. That is where all the creative ideas are sitting, right? The conscious mind is doing only logical work. It is the subconscious mind which is helping you with the creativity. So when you sit for about 10 minutes in the morning without disturbing, taking a tea or anything, no, simply brush your teeth and sit down in a relaxed manner, because that subconscious mind is working, and can help you only for about 15 minutes after you get up. So you got to capitalize that time. And in that period, you will find on its own, it will give you solution to your current problems. It will show you some new ideas. It will give you some wonderful, new suggestions. You got to capitalize it. That is your first 10 minutes. The next 10 minutes, you will use this silence. I call it meditation. You can learn the meditation, right? That's where you connect with the universal power, the Almighty, right? The Raj Yoga is what I practice, and the benefits are huge. This is done by Brahma Kumaris, and that power really makes you super powered in terms of your thinking ability, in terms of your commitment to achieve. Right. And then the last 10 minutes you will use for planning for the rest of the day for your critical activities. Very, very important, 2 or 3 activity, how you are going to implement and what you are going to do about it. And this 30 minutes of the morning is where you lay out your entire day's most important things. And that is when you will feel supreme power you will feel within yourself. And now you are ready to get going for your day's start, so you can have your tea and spend time with your family, and then take on your day as before. So this is the key element for the first 2 lessons, which is be positive, use your mind, thought power. Second, be balanced, right? The third element is be generous with people, accept the people as they are. So you give essentially the triggers of the trust and respect and things like that, and let them do their part of the job. You don't get involved. And the fourth is collaborative spirit is the spirit, it's a new foundation, it's a solid rock. When all of these are emerging, your fifth is you are serving for the universe. You are here to help the universe get the best. And when these 5 formulas you work, certainly you will become a non-stopper, and you will be flying into a much higher orbit in spite of this whatever surrounding that you may be hearing, but you will be busy with your activities. So my dear friend, I would like to close at this point my communication, and yes, I would be happy to have any specific questions. If anyone has, kindly put them in the comments column. I can respond to those. So I do see there are a couple of people, there are some audience who are so I look forward to your feedback, friends, because that will help both of us to grow in whatever we are doing. So I look forward to comments. Kindly go ahead and let me have your comments. Pratik, Pratik Parmar, you have any specific point? Kindly feel free at this point of time. Anyone else would like to put down this, any suggestions, any comments? Okay, we are already reasonably close to our scheduled time. Maybe I would like to, if there are no other comments or no responses, then I would like to close. So let me have your last 1 minute. If you have anything, kindly do suggest. Do put up your questions. Okay, friends. So with this I close the session, and I hope the session has been useful to you all, and look forward to any feedback through the comments column on this particular message. So thank you, and all the best to all of you for empowering yourself so that you have a beautiful business coming up tomorrow. All the best.